Hello, guys. So, again, it's been quite a while since I watched Death Note, but I still think it has a lot of good theories to explore. The show is a masterpiece of psychological drama, moral dilemmas, and cosmic stakes. And today, I've got 5 mind blowing theories to share with you. Let's start. Theory number 1: Light's God complex was always there. Let's start with Light Yagami, the protagonist turned antagonist of Death Note. This theory suggests that Light's descent into madness wasn't caused by the Death Note, it merely amplified his existing god complex. Let's break it down. In episode 1, Light finds the Death Note and immediately begins testing its power, writing down the names of criminals without hesitation. This suggests that he already had a skewed sense of justice and a desire to control life and death. His monologue about becoming a god of the new world isn't just a reaction to the Death Note, it's a reflection of his true nature. Now consider his backstory. Light is portrayed as a genius with a perfect life, top grades, a loving family, and a bright future. But this perfection could have fueled his arrogance and sense of superiority. The Death Note didn't create these traits, it gave him the means to act on them. But here's where it gets fascinating. In episode 25, Light loses his memories of the Death Note and reverts to his normal self. However, even without the Death Note, he still shows signs of his god complex, such as his willingness to manipulate others to achieve his goals. This implies that his dark side was always there, lurking beneath the surface. This theory reframes Light as a tragic figure, someone who was destined to fall from grace, with or without the Death Note. Next, we're diving into theory number 2. Ryuk orchestrated everything. Ryuk, the Shinigami who dropped the Death Note into the human world, is often seen as a passive observer. But what if he's the true mastermind behind the events of Death Note? Let's start with the evidence. In episode 1, Ryuk admits that he dropped the Death Note out of boredom, wanting to see how a human would use it. However, his actions throughout the series suggest a deeper agenda. For example, in episode 2, Ryuk tells Light that he'll be the one to write his name in the Death Note when he dies. This sets the tone for their relationship, with Ryuk subtly manipulating Light's actions. Now, consider Ryuk's role in Light's downfall. In episode 25, Ryuk helps Light regain his memories of the Death Note, knowing it will lead to chaos. In episode 37, Ryuk betrays Light by revealing his true identity to Nier and the task force. This suggests that Ryuk was always playing a long game, ensuring that Light's story would end in tragedy. But here's where it gets fascinating. In the Death Note one-shot manga, Akira story, Ryuk drops another Death Note into the human world, implying that he's done this before. This raises the question, is Ryuk conducting an experiment to see how humans react to ultimate power? This theory reframes Ryuk as a cunning manipulator, someone who's not just a bored Shinigami, but also a puppeteer pulling the strings behind the scenes. Next, we are diving into theory number 3. L knew Light was Kira early on. L, the enigmatic detective, is one of the most brilliant characters in Death Note. This theory suggests that L's initial suspicion of Light wasn't just intuition. He had concrete evidence but chose to wait before revealing it. Let's start with the evidence. In episode 2, L narrows down Kira's location to the Kanto region of Japan, specifically targeting Light's school. This is an incredibly precise deduction, especially considering the global scale of Kira's killings. L's ability to pinpoint Kira's location so quickly suggests that he had more information than he let on. Now, consider L's behavior during his first meeting with Light in episode 10. L immediately tests Light by pretending to be another student, Lind L. Taylor. This isn't just a casual introduction, it's a calculated move to gauge Light's reaction. L's decision to reveal his face to Light later in episode 11 is another strategic move designed to build trust while keeping a close eye on him. But here's where it gets fascinating. In episode 18, L stages a fake execution of a criminal to test Light's reaction. This shows that L was actively gathering evidence against Light, even if he didn't reveal it outright. L's decision to keep Light close, inviting him to join the task force in episode 12, wasn't just about collaboration, it was about surveillance. This theory reframes L as a master strategist, someone who was always one step ahead of Light, but chose to play the long game. His tragic death in episode 25 wasn't a failure. It was the culmination of a carefully orchestrated plan to expose Kira. Next, we're tackling theory number 4. Misa's second death note was a trap. Misa Amane, the second Kira, is one of the most tragic characters in Death Note. This theory suggests that a second Death Note wasn't just a gift from the Shinigami. It was a trap designed to test Light's loyalty and expose his true nature. Let's start with the evidence. In episode 11, Misa receives her second Death Note from the Shinigami Rem, who claims it's a reward for her devotion to Kira. However, this act of generosity seems out of character for the Shinigami, who are typically indifferent to human affairs. This raises the question, why would Rem give Misa such a powerful tool? Now, consider the consequences of Misa's second Death Note. In episode 12, Misa uses the Death Note to help Light by killing criminals and drawing attention to herself. This forces Light to take drastic measures to protect his identity, including manipulating Misa and orchestrating her capture. The second Death Note doesn't just complicate Light's plans, it puts him in direct conflict with L and the task force. But here's where it gets fascinating. In episode 25, Rem sacrifices herself to save Misa, which indirectly leads to L's death. This suggests that the second Death Note was part of a larger plan to destabilize the Kira investigation. By giving Misa a second Death Note, Rem ensured that Light would become overconfident and make mistakes, ultimately leading to his downfall. This theory reframes Misa's second Death Note as a double-edged sword, a gift that was also a curse. It adds depth to her character, showing how she was used as a pawn in a larger game. Finally, let's dive into theory number 5. Nier and Mello were L's backup plan. Nier and Mello, the successors to L, are two of the most intriguing characters in Death Note. This theory suggests that L trained them as his successors, knowing that he might not survive the Kira investigation. Let's start with the evidence. In episode 26, it's revealed that L had been grooming Nier and Mello at Wame's house, an orphanage for gifted children. This suggests that L was preparing for the possibility of his death, ensuring that the fight against Kira would continue even if he was gone. Now consider their personalities and skills. Nier is calm, analytical, and methodical, much like El Mello, on the other hand, is impulsive, emotional, and willing to take risks. Together, they represent two sides of L's personality, making them the perfect team to take down Kira. But here's where it gets fascinating. In episode 34, Near and Mello begin their investigation into Kira, each taking a different approach. Near focuses on gathering evidence and analyzing data, while Mello uses more aggressive tactics, such as kidnapping Sayu Yagami to gain leverage over Light. This division of labor mirrors L's own methods, showing that they were trained to complement each other. This theory reframes Near and Mello as L's legacy, the final pieces of his plan to defeat Kira. Their success in exposing Light in episode 37 is a testament to L's foresight and genius. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these Death Note theories, smash that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite shows. Until next time, stay curious and remember, in the end, there's no such thing as a perfect plan. There's